Thank you, Ross. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the round 20 highlights of the game between South Melbourne and Sunshine George Cross here from Bob Jane Stadium. And it's a big game for both teams, but for differing reasons. South Melbourne in the chase for the minor premiership with Oakley would like to collect all 3 points. And as for the Georgies, it is crisis time at the club. 3 points to avoid a potential relegation battle or drop from the Vodafone Cup. So all is at stake here this evening. Let's go to the highlights. And we'll start off with South Melbourne in goals. Number 1, Dean Anastasiadis. 3, Sam Vito. 6, George Tzirtis. 7, Nick Curtis. 11, Andreas Oliveira. Number 12, Dino Djulbic. 14, Tavsancioglu. 16, Tansel Bassa. 18, Scott MacNicol. 19, Andrew Bourakis. And number 20, Gianni Nittis. And the visitors, the Georgies. Martin John, number 1 in goals. 5, Colin Azzopardi. 3, Issy Erdogan. 18, Daniel Rocco. Number 17, Tsirtsakis. 13, Emmanuel Muscat. 9, Vasko Trpcevski. 10, Dusko Dalic. 8, Trent Waterson. 15, Fidel Richards. And number 11, Mark Draycott. Referee looking at his watch. MacNicol, last week's goal scorer. South Melbourne kicks off proceedings. And Joe Montemuro back to his old ground, this time as the Georgies manager. And as you recall, his first game in charge of the Georgies was against South Melbourne, Chaplain Reserve, early on in the season. Georgies won that match by 1-0, and wouldn't he love the same result this evening? Georgies currently in the bottom 2, and with 6 rounds left in the season, the Vodafone Cup, the last thing they want is to ensure their safety by the last round of the season. Missed kick there from Rocco. Georgies have the numbers. Muscat. This Tsirtsakis plays it wide. And a small but lively crowd here at Bob Jane Stadium. Light drizzle, greasy conditions. Anastasiadis there first. Held it with ease. Tavsancioglu throwing the ball back in play. Had a sit with the Victory last season. And speaking of players returning back to South, Moraes is on the bench, however. Back from his trial in Greece. South looking to create the first shot on goal for the game. The ball's been in the Georgies half for most of the game. MacNicol squaring it in. Opportunity there. Oliveira just couldn't keep the strike down. MacNicol found space wide, squared it there to Oliveira. Positive start for South Melbourne. Bassa. And what a powering back four that is for South Melbourne. Likes of Bassa, Tavsancioglu, experienced both home and abroad, and you think that will be a huge asset for South Melbourne as we approach the business end of the season. And a great ball in space. MacNicol squares it, and getting in the way of the referee there was Bourakis. His shot charged down, and now it's the Georgies on the counter-attack. Trpcevski, and it's a useful ball too. Draycott on his left foot, and what a brilliant strike! Draycott finished that ball superbly, and credit must be given to Trpcevski. That ball split the South defence and found Draycott wide on the left side, and he finished that on the edge of the box. And Draycott, the first time for the game that Georgies have gone forward deep into the South Heart, and they've been rewarded in the best possible manner. So looking to play at central, no one there for South Melbourne. And the Georgies under pressure in the first 5 minutes, and on the counter-attack, scored with their first forward movement. Great play by South. Looking to level this game, and the ball there from Oliveira. On target, but straight into the arms of John. His ball straight to the captain, Muscat. Looking to direct traffic forward. Bringing it wide and keeping it alive. Great play from Muscat. Nearly beat 2. Couldn't negotiate. Tavsancioglu. And here's Oliveira. Twisting and turning. Switches it wide to the run to MacNicol on the right side. Cleared out of danger by the Georgies, but straight to Tzirtis. And both teams conceding cheap possession. Some cheap giveaways there. Under no pressure, yet their pass has gone astray. Muscat, Richards presenting himself down the edge of the box. Rather uses Trpcevski. Tsirtsakis looking for assistance. Waterson's wide. Rather opts for the long ball. Richards should get there first. It's a matter whether he can control it. He can't. And South on the counter. Nittis can play it in, and it's a good ball too. Slightly long. We're talking about those greasy conditions. A little bit of extra speed with a slippery pitch. That ball any other day would have held up for MacNicol. South Melbourne now starting to have the better of the playing possession. Just need to translate this into goal scoring opportunities now. An opportunity for MacNicol. His shot charged down. Rocco got his ball out in the nick of time. And the Georgies were behind the back foot at the start of the game. Scored against a runner play. MacNicol has space, plays it wide, and Waterson couldn't get there the first time. Unable to clear, but does the second down the line. Lapsing concentration there, nearly could have cost the Georgies. Bourakis, curling ball, John there. Got a hand to it, but the Georgies not out of danger yet. Nittis, MacNicol, Bassa, can he keep it alive? He can't. Assistant raising the flag immediately. Solid performer, protecting the South net over the years, whether it be in state or national competitions. Good play there, Tsirtsakis. Finding space on the turn, and Richards laying it off here to Djulbic. Djulbic, and inches wide of the back post. And screaming for it, I think it was Rocco. Tzirtis looking there for Vito. South giving away possession. And here's straight cut again in a similar position. Was he brought down? The referee thinks not. And the Georgies supporters go up as one. And I think the referee has got it right at both ends of the ground 10 minutes ago. Takes the free. Low ball. Blocked by the Salt player, walling that in. Muscat, one of the Georgies' best. And in fact, the ball did not go out. When he handled that, it will be a free kick. Muscat could have been cautioned for that. Bourakis again. Ball towards the back post. Looking to win that header there. And it nearly an equaliser there for South. Looking to win that header, Djulbic. And the ball coming in again. John nearly beaten. And that was nearly the equaliser for South. And Djulbic defends and lays it off. Oliveira. And getting around here to Nittis. And John. The last line of defence for the Georgies. They're under siege the last 5 minutes. South look like the team most likely to score now. Prefer to work the ball wide when attacking. And the Georgies, particularly midfield, they put the numbers back, making it difficult for South to work the ball through midfield. Ball whipped in, too deep there, cleared by Muscat, but spills here to Bourakis. The Georgies clear. South maybe mount a last attack before half-time. In fact, they won't. And it's the visitors, Sunshine George Cross, that hold the lead here at Bob Jane Stadium. A Mark Draycott strike in the 7th minute is the difference between these two teams. Can South Melbourne come back, or will the Georgies record a famous victory here at Bob Jane Stadium? We'll find out with all the second half action just after a few short messages from our sponsors. Fidel Richards, Georgies' leading goal scorer for the season, currently with 6 goals. He kicks off the second half, has the ball now. Dispossessed. And for all of you wondering who is the leading goal scorer for South Melbourne this season, it's actually Fernando de Moraes, back from a trial in Greece. And he's scored 8 goals. And the Golden Boot today, Michael Kasija for Kingston City, currently with 14. And the Georgies holding on to this precious lead of theirs by 1-0. South did the bulk of the attacking in the latter stages of the first half. Definitely applied the pressure on the Georgies. And a lapse in defence there. Finds an opening here for the Georgies. Draycott, he nearly made it too. And Anastasiadis nearly picked up that ball from the back of the net again. And it's crunch time now for South Melbourne. Currently sitting in 2nd spot. If they do want to chase Oakley for the minor premiership, they're 6 points adrift. And mind you, Oakley do have a game in hand. And they're playing Green Gully midweek. And speaking of Oakley, the Georgies, that's their next opponent at Chaplin Reserve next week. And every game crucial for the Georgies in their campaign for Vodafone Cup survival. And behind play, down is Dalic, and an obvious penalty there, some holding on, but the referee must have been oblivious to it. Being held on there inside the box was Draycott. That's an extremely lucky break for South Melbourne. And behind play, Dalic, drama here at Bob Jane Stadium. First of all, Dalic behind play. And South Melbourne should not only have conceded a penalty, but they should be a man down. Extremely lucky, and they could nearly find a leveller here and cleared there on the last line of defence for a corner. The Georgies can certainly count themselves unlucky. Oliveira. He's also had a good game for South, but the problem for not only he, but the bulk of the midfielders is trying to get through the sea of Georgie's players, particularly in midfield, creating very few spaces for South to work the ball forward. Poor pass there, intercepted by MacNicol. MacNicol gets the reply ball, solid challenge there from the Georgies. I think it was Erdogan. Defended well there, and it was Richards. Tsirtsakis looking to play it down the line. His pass charge down. Djulbic. South really do need to lift a notch. The Georgies have started the better of the two teams this half. As we mentioned before, unlucky not to have been another goal up, or let alone given a penalty. Long ball from Oliveira, too long for Bourakis. Djulbic squares it to Bassa. And this is South's problem. They maintain possession well to here, and this is where they come undone. And it's happened again. Richards has 4 to beat, but rather lays it off wide. A chance here for Tsirtsakis, and his shot blocked. Solid defending there by Djulbic. MacNicol. Oliveira. Slow but patient build-up. This from South Melbourne. MacNicol beats 2 and was brought down illegally. We played just under 15 minutes in the second half. Free kick taken. Laid off here to MacNicol. And he may have injured himself in the process. He's holding his ankle. It will be a corner to South Melbourne. Coordinating the defending there with Anastasiadis. Anastasiadis, despite his age, the likes of he, Boyle, Jevdovic, fine keeping throughout the season. And they may be getting older with age, but their performances on the pitch have been more than impressive. And going down there, and this time the referee doesn't point to the spot. In fact, he gives Djulbic a yellow card for diving. Corner taken, missing everyone. Controlled here and laid off to MacNicol. In fact, not MacNicol, it was Moraes on his left boot. His shot sails over the bar. Covering his ground well, Djulbic combining with Anastasiadis. Been solid, Djulbic, so too Bassa. Georgies haven't had that many chances on goal, probably 3 or 4 at best. And an opening here for Moraes. And John off his line. Great play there from Moraes. Found the rare opening in the Georgies defence that's been so solid. Djulbic being solid for South Melbourne this evening. Moraes, always dangerous when he has a bit of space on him. Lays it off, gets the reply ball and just can't finish. Silky play there from Fernando Moraes. He did everything right, he just couldn't finish. He normally swallows those for breakfast. South Melbourne, deep ball towards the back post. And shot coming in, and the other one, and there it is! Finally, South Melbourne get the goal they're looking for. And unmarked there on the edge of the box, I think it was MacNicol. All the players have gone out to congratulate him, and it was. Moraes combining the Vito to clear. MacNicol blocking the pass here from Rocco. MacNicol lays it off here to Oliveira. Great save from John. That should have been a second for South Melbourne. He's made a couple of fine stops this evening, Martin John. It's a slow build-up. Nearly dispossessed. But Bassa roaming forward. Cleared by the Georgies, but they're not out of danger yet. The long-range effort there. A cracking strike. Bourakis. And John held it. That was goal-bound. Nittis. Shot charge down. And on that note, the referee signals full-time. South pegged the goal back in the second half. A glorious strike from Scott MacNicol gives both teams a point here in a good game at Bob Janes Stadium. The final score here is South Melbourne 1, Sunshine George Cross 1. And with me, Sunshine Georgies manager Joe Montemuro. Joe, thank you for your time. You did such a splendid effort at holding South Melbourne at bay for up to 75 minutes.
Well, I mean, you don't come here and win easy. I thought we had opportunities, especially in the second half. Probably some incidences that happened that we could have probably pinched the game, but we stuck to our game plan. We came here to get something out of it, and we feel we're back on track. You know, we've had a bad run at the turn of the break with three losses that we didn't need, and look, we feel it was important to get something out of today's game.
And speaking of getting your season back on track, reality is you potentially facing the drop out of the Vodafone Cup. Do you feel your squad just needs to play like they've done this evening to potentially avoid that? Are you confident with the boys?
Look, apart from Richmond 2 weeks ago, we haven't played bad. We've just needed to finish teams off, especially against Melbourne Knights, and out of the last 5 games, we've gone one up and just unable to hold teams out. And it's more a mental thing. I think it's going to happen. It's really going to happen, and the boys believe in themselves, and we believe in what we're doing. So.